Hey everybody, CrackBerry Kevin here, live from Berlin, Germany, where I just came out of a BlackBerry briefing to take a look at the newest BlackBerry coming to market. It is the new sibling of the BlackBerry KEY2, which came out earlier this year, and it is another member of the KEY2 family. It is the BlackBerry KEY2 LE, or Light Edition. Lots of things to talk about today, and I'm going to talk fast because I have to get these phones back to more briefings shortly. Please come through.
Can I just
walk on?
CrackBerry.com.
Really is a live, quick take here. So, first thing about the BlackBerry KEY2 LE is it doesn't come in black. So you'll remember the KEY2 comes in this beautiful silver version, and it comes in a blacked out version. But we're talking 3 colors with the LE. There is Slate, which is your closest thing to black, but it's a little bit more of like a blue-gray type of steely look, which is cool. You have Champagne, so if you look at the trim of this, it is that gold color with a navy-ish blue keyboard and back. Really classy, really subtle, but nice, a little bit of pop to it. But speaking of pop, you've got my favorite here. You've got the BlackBerry KEY2 LE in Atomic. It's red. Check out the frets between the keys. They are red. It glistens. It kind of makes you smile when you look at it. And it's just an all-around hot device. If I have to pick between the 3, you know me, I'm always going to give you my color recommendation. If you can get it, this is it. So, at a glance, when you compare the phones, they look like they're from the same family, right? There are subtle differences, though, and I'll go through them as quick as I can. The first thing is materials. So, the KEY2, metal all the way around. Heavy duty. This is a lighter device. It's a few grams lighter, I think. You pick it up and it's deceptively light for the size, but it's making better use of polycarbonate, aka plastic. But nothing feels cheap or plasticky about it. You pick it up and there's nothing that makes you think, oh, this is, of a much lesser price point than this. It really feels good in the hand. Lighter, but nice. When you look at the keyboard, compared to the Key1, it's still a bigger keyboard by about 10%, but you can see that the keys are a little bit smaller than the layout on the Key2, and the design's a bit different. Where here it's kind of flat with spacing between the rows. This goes back to the frets we're actually more accustomed to on a device like the Key1. Screen is the same all around, which is cool. Processor gets a bump up from the Key1. It's a 636 Snapdragon. When it comes to RAM, you got 4 gigs of RAM versus 6 by default. And when it comes to storage, this starts at 32 gigs, whereas this is starting at 64, but there is a 64 gig version available. So another thing on the keyboard, she just makes for a little bit simpler device, is they got rid of the capacitive touchpad on the keyboard. So you can't swipe up, flick typing and that kind of thing, scroll with it in apps like the web browser. Some people are gonna miss that. Some people won't ever even know it existed if they're upgrading for an older BlackBerry that never had that. For me, it's not a big deal. The only thing I really would miss is I like to swipe back left to delete words when I, use the wrong word and I want to fix a mistake or something. Other than that, most of the device holds true to the Key2, so it's a really good value proposition. And speaking of value, price is the big thing here. So every day on my Twitter feed, Instagram feed, YouTube channel, I get comments saying, Kevin, I'd love to buy a Key2, but I just don't have the money right now. It's a little too expensive for me. Because this thing started at, I think, $649 or $649. And everybody's like, if it only cost, under $400, I'd buy it. And it does. It's $399 US at the 32 gig version. If you go with the 64 gigs of storage, which is what it's going to start in the US with, I think when you see it roll out there, expect to see it at $449, which is a pretty good price point in the marketplace. There's not as many phones competing in that space, and I think this just becomes a much more accessible type of phone to go after for those who can't go for the more pro, more blingy, standard Key2 with all its metal trim. And I think this is just a fun phone. If I go back to the old CrackBerry Kevin days, the early years, we had 2 phones, right? We had the curves and we had the bolds. Even before that, you kind of had the 8800 series BlackBerry compared to the curve when they were first coming to the market. And, they were a different design, much more different device ID, whereas these are quite similar looking. But there's something here when I pick them up, that's what I feel. So I don't feel like this is a cheap Key2. I feel like there's something curvy about it. And in reality, when you even look at it, they kind of curved out the edges a bit more. And when you look at the side, the Key2 in the hand is a little bit sharper to grab and hold. And this is a little bit more curved, and it feels just friendlier and a little more approachable, which was kind of how the curves were back in the day compared to like the 8800s and the first bolds. So in my head, I just feel like, again, everything old is new again, and we kind of are revisiting now like a more affordable, accessible, friendlier, colorful curve type of phone, but it's the Key2 LE. And then you've got your more sort of pro professional, you know, more standard color, like really the executive phone in your sort of 8800 or Bold series. And it's kind of like the old playbook revisited, and I think it's a smart call because, again, more price points is more options. I think it's easier for, like, you know, customers to go into the store and maybe they're thinking they want this one because it's cheaper, but then they pick up this one, and some people are gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna spend the extra $250 on it. And then other people are like, oh, I want this, but I can't get it. But you know, this has all the stuff that really matters to me. So they're gonna go in for that. And you know, snapping some photos, I think the sensors are maybe a little bit different, but I've been seeing really good photos on this comparable to Key2 from my testing so far. So I think it's gonna pass the, you know, it's a pretty good phone all around, you know, pretty good price, pretty good camera, pretty good specs. You know, one of the things I didn't mention in terms of that cost savings is on battery. This is the 3,500 milliamp hour battery. This is 3,000, a little bit smaller, but everybody I've talked to today is very adamant it's gonna get you through a full day of charge, which is really what it's about. You know, I don't need 2 days of charge. I'm gonna plug it in when I go to bed, but you know, some days I'm gonna wake up like today at 5:30 in the morning, and I'm gonna go to bed at like, well, I think there's a BlackBerry party tonight, so I'm probably not going to bed until 5:30, but it's probably gonna get me through that full day, no problem, if I'm rocking it pretty hard, even while roaming and traveling. And that's something that's been really solid for me with all the BlackBerry Key devices we've had since the Key 1, the Key 2, and I think the Key2 LE is gonna hold up to that. So with that, I need to run upstairs and drop these off. Drop a note in the comments below whether you're seeing this on YouTube, on the CrackBerry site, or anywhere else, and let me know what you think of the Key2 LE. Which color would you go for? Would it be slate? Would it be champagne? Or is it gonna be atomic? Key2. That's it for this one. Kevin out.